Welcome to the Scene Snobs podcast.
Welcome to the Scene Snobs podcast, everybody. I am your host, Mick Manhattan, and I am so happy it's Tuesday. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this episode. Producer Paul is here. Jesse Green from Jesse Green Live is going to be joining in, and we're going to be talking movie stars. So yeah, let's kick it off. Let's bring in producer Paul. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you, Mick?
Good, bud. Jesse should be joining us very soon, but I wanted to come in. I wanted to talk to you for a couple of minutes. You did something this week that was very adorable, and I want to get. And you're going to be doing a cool little interview about it.
Yes, I am.
So I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
But if we could hint at it, I've been wanting to talk about it since you told me on the show.
Heck
so, but I'm going to let you tell it. Please go ahead, Paul. What happened this week that in preparation for Dune Part 2?
In Dune Part 2, I rewatched Dune Part 1 yesterday, and I got to watch it on Discord with someone I consider a younger brother. He's 11 years old, awesome kid, and he absolutely fell in love with that movie. He's like, I don't know how I didn't see this. And this coming weekend, I'm going to take him to his first movie theater experience in his entire life to go see Part 2. And I am ecstatic to see the movie and to be with someone to experience that for the first time.
Yes, dude. I freaking love that. It's such an awesome experience to get to do. And the fact that you got to share in that, watch first one with him, love it, and like connect on that. But for it to be his first, and the fact that your show, and for anybody who's watching and doesn't know, Paul produces a show that's on the channel, and it's the Movie Going Experience, and where he talks to different people. He talked to his dad about his time going to see The Exorcist when it first came out, and what that was like. And yeah, then you did another one on Space Camp, and then you're going to be talking about Dune 2, and just that theater experience. So I'm so excited for that one.
Yes.
That's gonna really kick ass, bro.
Yeah, I'm super excited to interview him because he has no idea that I'm going to, because I just want him to live in a moment, not overthink anything or be like, oh, I need to remember this. I don't want to get caught up in anything except him enjoying it. But I think it's gonna be real amazing because I've set aside a few things just to make sure that kid could point at everything on that damn menu when we get our concessions. And I got no problem. So,
dude, I that is such I really want to talk about this with you, because once you get ready for it, yeah, you can point out anything, but you also should steer in the right direction.
Right.
And now we're the Scene Snobs.
Absolutely.
Let's start steering, shall we?
Absolutely.
so when you get up there, for you, all right, I'm him.
Okay.
Right. I start pointing around. I'm like, okay, you know what? I want a hot dog, not bad, right? Not bad.
Right.
I want large popcorn.
That's a good choice. Yes.
Large Sprite.
Yep. But we got to get the collector's cup because there's going to be a Dune 2 cup. So you got to get the Dune 2 cup.
Got to be a Dune 2 cup. Yeah, there's got to be something to bring home at the end of the night and make love to. That's what has to exist in this moment.
Yep.
So, all right. So far I'm on to a good point. So now what if I throw in a wild card like pretzel bites?
Pretzel bites isn't bad. I would suggest a candy though, because you want to offset it.
Ooh, I like it.
Because that's my go-to. You always need some actual, quote unquote food, but you need the candy to enjoy too, because that just makes it more enjoyable.
What's your candy of choice?
Goobers.
Don't
even that. Nah, Goobers is the best.
I don't even know why they're still on sale. I know why they're on sale. They're like a psyop or something. It's like profiling to see who's out there, who's the maniacs are, it's him.
It's me.
He's the maniac.
And my roommate, Matt. Matt actually put me on to Goobers when we were working at the theater together when I was working underneath him, because I'd never had them before and I fell in love with them. So
because the overabundance of boxes from all the years of nobody buying them meant you could steal that many and nobody knew. Or actually, they were probably thankful that they didn't have to keep this inventory any longer.
Yeah.
Mine would probably, my trusty go-to is always Reese's Pieces, Skittles in a pinch, Raisinets, throw them on some popcorn sometimes, pretty good. Hey, but this kid's gonna have a great time because he's with Uncle Paul, and it's gonna be so much fun. But our only guest that's on tonight is and guys, he's been on the show before. Jesse Green, he has his own podcast. It's linked down below in the description. Make sure you head over there and follow and subscribe over on his channel. Check out his shows. It's called Jesse Green Live in Between. And let's bring him on. We're going to be talking some movie stars tonight, and let's get into it. Hey, Jesse.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How you
Good
doing?
to be back.
Glad to have you back.
Jesse, I got to ask you.
Good to be here. Always have fun on this show.
We try. We do our best.
Yeah.
This one might be a little bit silly because I'm so into this old movie star thing that I've been reading about. Like the death of the movie star thing that I was reading recently. And I was just like, you know what? I just want to talk about this. Like, because it makes total sense. Because now it seems like every movie star is trying to be more towards an influencer. Yeah. And it's failing spectacularly. But in return, I'm finding that I see more actors stepping in. Like, I'm sorry. I know that sounds very condescending, but it's kind of true. It's like these very talented character actors, for so to speak, sort of stepping up more and more and taking over roles and starring where these movie stars are trying to be part of these franchises and stuff, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of seems like the movie star is kind of fading a little bit, and I kind of like it. I mean, I think we're getting better products in some areas. Definitely indie.
I could agree with that. Yeah, I was about to say indie as well. And I think it's so not to dive right into it, but I think it's just a different time now, because it used to be, unless you saw it in the theater, it was Blockbuster, your local family video was the only way to see these movies. And now with all the streaming services being worldwide, I mean, it's hard to be just like, oh, I'm not going to say everyone's a movie star, because that's not true, but every movie is accessible. So with me being a horror nerd, there are people I would consider a movie star that maybe the general audience would be like, I don't even know who that is.
Jesse Green right there.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I tell people I'm a movie actor. That's all I am, is an actor.
That's true, because you're putting on the good performances. To me, that's the difference. It's a movie star is just somebody who's famous from being in movies. Just fair. And an actor is somebody who blows them away, with their performance.
I think the whole concept of movie star has changed a lot over the years, because it used to be they were like a mystique out there. We saw them in movies. We could appreciate their movies, but we didn't know what they had for breakfast. We didn't know where they lived. We didn't know every little nuance about them. And that's all because of social media and all. And I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. It sometimes makes you a little bit more feel like they're normal people. And I think when you do that, then you take that status of movie star down to, you bring it down. I like the old days when, you had to go to the theater to see Marlon Brando, or you had to go to whoever your favorite actor was back then. You had to pay money and take your time to go see them. And you didn't know anything about them. They just show up in there, and they might show up in the whatever they called the magazines back then, the movie star magazines. And you might get 20 pictures of them a year, and that was it. So there was a mystique there. Now they're blasted in your face everywhere you go. And another thing I think, again, I'm not judging good or bad, is a lot of the people nowadays, when they get up to that position, then they want to get political one way or another. And I've never understood that, because no matter what side you're on, when you start to get political, you're affecting probably 50% of your fan base.
Right.
Yeah, true.
And I'm not sure movies in whole are as good now as what they used to be. You might have 20 movies a year that are good quality movies. The rest of them are just CGI, and the actors are just an extra in the movie, basically.
You know what? I agree about like the 20 movies, but I think each passing year, those 20 movies that are really good are getting significantly better. Like they're like, just as the years pass, they're like, those are going to be truly remembered movies. Yeah, I mean, it's becoming less and less, which I think is a good thing, because we've been oversaturated for so long.
Yes.
So like with the, and going back with the movie star status and stuff, it is nice because it feels like you're right with everything out there. There's no, that mystique isn't there. You can't build on a hero. The studios can't build like the narrative of a hero or this starlet, wonder. Yeah, it's just so different. It's not glimpses anymore. It's in your face now. And all of that had to have started with like the MTV cribs and all that, like, come see everything we want you to see, our lives. And now it's more. So, I think it's a good positive thing for acting though, because it's almost like when the talkies, like movies switched to talkies and you found all of those famous actors in the silent era, they weren't going to quite make it and cut it in the talkies with their voices. No. So a lot of those actors who are like really good at being movie stars in these movies that they were oversaturated for so long, like these ensemble pieces, stuff like that, feels to me like now you're going to get people like scrambling, like, oh, I got to figure out how to act.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
don't know if it's just me, but some of these older classic movies, I go back and watch them, and some of the acting was pretty poor.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know if it's, I don't know what it is, but they were put on the pedestal as being these great actors and actresses, and you go back and watch them, and it's not, their acting isn't that exciting.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I think is very underrated, even though he's considered one of the greatest. But you throw out a lot of those great actors that from back in the day, like the Gregory Pecks and Cary Grants. I kind of agree. Like, I liked them. I thought they were good, but I don't think they were, like, especially by many other standards by today, very great actors.
Yeah.
But Paul Newman.
Oh, Paul Newman, yeah.
Oh, that guy, man. He could act.
Yeah.
Every step of the way. Like, it was just, wow. Like, I went back and watched HUD last year.
Heck yeah.
And it was just, it's such a great, that's a guy, that's a movie star.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That is like everything he did outside of like the industry, like that should be every movie. If you want to be a movie star, that should be the standard.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do. You have to be like Paul Newman or get the hell out.
Yeah, right.
I got a question. I got a question for you though, Mick. If so Paul Newman, he did his own stunts. Would you consider Tom Cruise the newer generation's Paul Newman?
Yeah, except his charity is Scientology.
Yeah.
But if you didn't know that about him,
well,
that goes
back
to
maybe we know too much about these people.
Right.
I've had to, not to get into a political discussion, but I think at times you have to. I'm not a real political guy. I got my beliefs, but I'm not far left or far right. But lots of times you have to look at these people and appreciate their performance or what job they do, because they may come out and be completely opposite of your beliefs. But everybody's entitled to their opinion. But back in the day, we didn't have that. We didn't know what they believed in. We believed that they were all, none of them were having affairs. None of them were alcoholics. None of them were.
Right.
Now we know everything about everybody, and I guess it makes them more human.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They need to be more human.
Yeah, it is. It's so out in the open, and it's crazy to me. It's crazy to think that a lot of these influencers, to take that status, that because these influencers that are kind of just jumping into this mega stardom and taking over in some ways, they're getting there by sharing way too much. Just like way too much, like, and it's like it to an ungodly amount. Like, please stop, And it's just, you see the numbers keep rising, and you're like, I don't know, like we all do this, But it's like, to what point, But sometimes it's pretty crazy. But now these movie stars seem to kind of be shifting. Like, if they can't act, they seem to sort of be shifting, either producing or off to try.
Well, you remember back it wasn't that long ago, if you were a movie star, you wouldn't be caught dead doing a TV show. That was a step down for people.
Yeah, remember there was an event if like John Wayne was on I Love Lucy or something.
Oh yeah,
That was-
yeah, that was. And what you were mentioning about the influencers, I guess it's just the way it works. But I'm not sure their opinion carries any more weight than our opinion. You know, it's just their opinion. But they go out there because they've got a fan base. They can influence this group of people, and I think actors, I think singers maybe ought to stick to what they know, and let they can voice their opinion, but don't go out and preach it. You might not know all the facts, and but we got to fill up that 24 hours of news a day.
Right.
At least ask more questions.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
instead of looking at every topic this way.
Yeah. For sure.
And I also feel I'm kind of getting tired of seeing a lot of influencers getting a lot of media time, like for Super Bowl, for instance. I saw a lot of influencers doing the commercials.
Yeah.
And, that's good for them. Like, I'm not saying, like, take away their payday, but there's people that went to acting school, did all these things. Like, they're trying to do the right things. I think it's kind of taken away from them because I feel like they took an easier route. And I'm not saying I won't take it if I got it, but I still think, I just don't think that's fair.
I have a very controversial thought on that one.
Okay.
I think that's influencers are exactly what commercials have been trying to make forever. So like if this is what commercials have always been trying to make and it's finally here, they haven't stolen anything from actors. It's just that we are finally at that point that's what commercials wanted. So it makes sense that if you're going to spend $1 million, $2 million on a commercial, you're going to want the most famous face in it,
which is fair,
right?
Yeah.
Right.
So, but now movies, that's a different story,
right?
That's because now it's like, hey, join SAG. We have an influencer level. Our content creator, come on in, and then you get them in SAG, and it's like, here, throw them in this movie, throw them in this movie, throw them in, and it's like, so you can't build anybody up. It's just it's so tough. So padding the bet, but that's why I got I have no love for celebrities.
But I will say, yes, go ahead.
Over the years of being in this business, I've met a fair amount of famous actors and actresses, and probably 99% of them are just like you and I. They just do a different job than what we do, and that's what you have to look on acting as. It's just a job. It's I don't know. I include myself in it, but You either can be an auto mechanic or you can't be an auto mechanic. You can be an actor, you can't be an actor. You can go to school, but I don't think you can take somebody, put them through school, and they become an actor. I think there's something inside here you have to begin with. Because I've never had one acting class in my life, and I'm not saying I'm doing that good, but I'm having fun. I've been in a lot of movies, so.
Oh yeah.
Wherever win an Academy Award? Probably not. But I don't care. I don't care.
But it's even that though. Like I don't think you have to go to an acting school to be an actor. I've known lots of people who've gotten into acting and never went to school, and it was just a passion. They got into it, and that So yeah, that's awesome. It's even like that with musicians for me too. It's like when they sort of kind of cross over and start doing, the influencers are like, they never had any ambition to do acting or do anything before, and then they're in movies. It's like, come on, I want to watch an actor, and then it's like, well, I've always had a passion for this. Well, of course you have. You've had a passion for the paycheck. Right. Not, you didn't go through the years and years and years of waiting tables to get to the point where you get the role after role after role after role after role on everything to get all the way up to maybe getting that point.
I understand. I kind of understand the people that, you talk about 15 minutes of fame. If I ever got in that position where I had that 15 minutes of fame, I don't know. I wouldn't be an attention whore at that point too, because that 15 minutes is going to be going sometime soon.
Right.
So if I was in that position, I might fall prey to that and be in every movie that they offered and on every TV show and be a spokesperson for Pepto-Bismol and whatever.
Yeah,
true. And what I think it is, and that's the thing. I don't blame the influencers, and I am sorry. I feel like I'm really blaming them, and I don't, because you know what?
We made them.
We did, but
we
also
as a society made them.
I blame producers because they don't want to make movies; they want to make cash cows.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what bugs me, is that it's like, okay, that's why the influencer's there. We're not looking for actors. We're not looking for the best person for the role. We're not doing it. We're not finding directors who want to do that. It's just, here we go. And now some movies do, of course, but those are the directors and producers that broke through, that are able to do that, or independent.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Why we should be much more independent movies.
Yes.
I bark that all the time.
Some of the problems I have with independent movies is, there's I think everybody should get a shot that has an interest in acting or being part of the crew and all that. But I think we at times in the business need to be a little bit more honest with these people, because I know I've seen acting, I've seen special effects work, I've seen makeup, I've seen in every field in the movie process, mediocre people. But at the end of the day, everybody's like, oh God, that was great, that was fantastic, how are these people ever gonna, even in their mind, ever gonna improve? If everybody's telling them that what they're doing is the greatest,
right?
And it's not. I'd rather have somebody be honest with me and go, you know what, your acting today was okay, but it wasn't up to snuff. Then I'll work on it when I come back. But if they blow smoke up my ass and tell me I did the greatest job that day, why train? Why work on anything? And you have that in the independent business, and I think it's because we need people to do movies, and I'm not saying you go up to that person and go, hey, your acting today really sucked. You might want to not give up your day job.
But constructive criticism, of course, yeah.
But don't blow them up as the next big independent actor. Just say, hey, thanks for coming today. Enjoyed working with you. I'll get in touch with you in the future. Right. Boom. You're not downgrading them. But you're not putting them up on a pedestal where they think, oh my God, I'm great. And I'm not exclude myself out of that. Like I said, I'd rather a director tell me, it was mediocre today. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Right. No, absolutely.
And I'll try to work on it. So when I come back tomorrow, or I come back to their next movie, I'm, that much more than mediocre, maybe.
But I would take umbrage with that, because I would blame the director for that. If there's some mediocre performance being pulled out of you and the director said that, that's the director's fault. That is not your fault. If I'm the director on that set and I think you're doing a mediocre take, I'm coming up to you, and I'll of course never line read, but I'm going to talk to you about this. I'm going to try and draw out of you what I'm looking for. No, I would never tell an actor they did something mediocre unless I myself am saying I did a mediocre job. I brought out a mediocre performance in you.
Well, I think if you're gonna give criticism, and I see this in a lot of movies, we'll do a take, and then when it's done, then they'll go, for example, Jesse, you need to bring it up a level, or you need to blah, 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 whatever. Mm-hmm. If it's criticism, that director should take me off to the side and say, look, I'm not happy with this. Can you change this? Can you do this? It shouldn't be. And it I'd say 99% of the time, it's put out there in front of everybody, Everybody doesn't need to know the relationship between the director and I. That should be between us in private.
The only time I would say other than that is within in a directional sense, like, and I'm just speaking from a directing from my own standpoint. Like if it's something where it's like a kind of a quick, like, hey, could you try this? Like I might not pull you aside, but like, yes, I definitely think like if it's a deep, like, hey, listen, this is what I'm looking for, or I'm frustrated by, something that you're doing. Absolutely. If they're not pulling you aside and connecting with you, then it's an ineffective director, or it's just ignorance from inexperience.
Yeah.
You know?
I know. One small point, that one little stickler that I have is, we'll do a take, and when it's done, the director will go, "Oh, that was great. Let's do it again." And I've had a confrontation with directors. Look, if it was great, then why do I have to do it again? And so now several of them that I work with, what they'll do is go, that was really good, but I think we can do better. I'll accept that, but don't tell me my scene was great, but you want one more take. Then it wasn't so great, or you saw something you didn't like, but tell me, don't tell me I did a great job and then go, but we got to do it one more time.
Right.
The only time I would ever say that though is like if I want 2 takes of something just for editing.
Yeah.
Just to say I want to go again. Like I just want to do it again. Like
I mean, I like one takes.
Oh, I definitely get it.
Yeah, I like one takes. I always tell directors I work with to tape the run through, because that run through might be the best take you get that day.
But also you can pick up a lot of
directors where I've done. You have problems. You have somebody, cell phone go off, or an airplane goes over, or somebody walks through the scene, or somebody forgets their lines. But if it's a clean take, you don't need to retake something 10, 12 times, because I know as an actor, the spontaneity goes down each take.
True. Yeah, that's too much.
So, you're going to get your best takes in the first or second take. You get up to 6, 7 takes, then I think the quality starts to go down. And if you're looking for something, I'm not sure you're gonna get it at that point.
I'll always say there's always exceptions to every rule. Every set I've ever been on, there's always an exception to every rule but I do agree with you. If you're doing more than 3, I would say that's a stretch too, but like if it's absolutely more than 3, then you have not utilized rehearsal, which is the most important thing, and you should have utilized that from beginning to end. I do not understand. Like, please, can I please plead for a second with independent directors, please? Like, instead of just having parties and script reads and stuff and all these different things, like and like I've seen a few directors, and I'm not going to call them out, but like they're actually on the show last Friday. He's a good indicator of this. He has rehearsals. So I'll let you figure that one out for yourselves, but you need to have rehearsals. You need to bring the cast together, even if it's on Zoom. If you can't get them all in, like I realize that, but have them act it out. Do it, like, do the movements, figure it out, like, get loose with it, get comfortable with it, so when you get in the role that they've thought about, like, what am I going to put into this?
I know when I was brought on for Anna Key, and I was part of the hiring process for Abigail, who played Anna Key. She had just graduated from DePaul University, acting college, school, whatever, with a 4-year paid college scholarship.
Oh, nice.
And she was excellent. And I told her, I said, we're going to have to work together, or I'm going to look like shit in these scenes next to you. And we probably, through Zoom, because she was living in Chicago at the time, we probably, just her and I bet you spent 20 hours on Zoom going through each scene, what the emotion should be, what each other should be feeling toward these scenes. And even broke it down. We had 4, 5, 6 kisses in the thing, and there's kisses mean different stuff, and we even broke it down to what's this kiss mean in this scene? Is it just a kiss hello, or is it a passionate kiss? And we when we were done all that, we felt that if we could bring what we were doing on Zoom in front of the camera, we'd have it made. And I'm not Yeah, I am patting myself on the back. I think we did. I think we did, and that 20 hours paid off. I don't know how somebody, because it was Anakia is kind of a romantic drama, and Abigail and I are the two main characters. I don't know how as an actor, I don't know how I could have shown up on set cold turkey and pulled off the role I did in Anakia without that 20 hours of background and getting to know each other and having everything figured out. I mean, we became super close friends, and once you do your acting, and once the final cut is there, I mean, the final that's a wrap. Then unfortunately your job's done, and it's up to the editor and the general public to tell you whether you did a good job or not. Your job is done at that point. When it's a wrap, your job is done. There's nothing you can do about. You can go out and promote the shit out of something. And if it was a crappy movie, it ain't gonna do any good.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I get it.
And then there's different levels. I understand independent. There's different levels. There's movies that are meant to be a little.
Yeah, those schlocky videos. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Which
they're just 90 minutes of brainless entertainment.
Yeah, there's plenty of room for all the fun. It should be out there. Yeah, and I love that. And everybody, and that's the nice part about the indie level, as I see it, is like everybody gets to play in all of that. It doesn't have to be any which way, but it's whereas with Hollywood, you can't really do all that.
No, you can't. You can't do that.
But I like something you said too, where you were like with the 5 kisses. It was like everyone has to mean something. It's not just kissing scene. Like what's happening in the scene? How do we miss that? Like where what do I need to be doing? Am I creepy in the scene? Am I powerful in the scene? Am I trying to am I trying to be passionate? Like, I loved how you put that. So that was very cool. But
it was because in Anakia, I'm supposed to be in my mid 60s. That's why I darkened all my hair and all. So, and she was 24 at the time. So there was a big age difference there. And, we discussed it that throughout the whole movie, it needed to be perceived that she was the aggressor in this relationship. Because if it ever flipped that I was the aggressor, then it became a weird movie.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So I think we kept it that way. I hope people don't have a problem with that movie because of that age difference. But the message of the movie that we want to put out there is that 40 some years difference that's odd. But bottom line, love is love. You can't help what your heart does. And
look at Al Pacino.
Yeah, you can't help what your heart does, and hopefully people see that message from the movie and not the big age difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, Jesse, I really appreciate you coming on tonight and joining in with us with this conversation. It was a lot of fun. And before you go, I would love for you to tell everybody about your show. And it is linked down below, everybody, so you can go over and subscribe. But please, if you could just let everybody know.
Okay, I actually have 2 shows now. I started out with just Jesse Green Live. It was going to be on the first and third Wednesday of every month. Well, I quickly found out that with the longer months, there was a 2-week lag in between the next thing. So then I switched over and said, okay, I'm going to do it every other Wednesday. And I started researching because I'm in, with professional wrestling, acting, podcasting, I'm in uncharted territory here. I admit I'm doing this by the seat of my pants, and so I was able to, watch stuff on YouTube, and they were saying that, if you get regular customers, they can't remember which Wednesday is what. And so, and also, I call it Jesse Green Live because I want the concept to just be, and I saw your post today, Mick, that's what I've tried to keep my podcast is a conversation. It's not an interview show. It's just sitting down talking, no script, no nothing. And unfortunately, my program comes on Wednesday mornings at 5:36. I made it 5:36, so it's a unique number. And I got 5 shows taped ahead, and it's Jesse Green Live, but I wanted Jesse Green Live is the concept of the program. We hit the 3, 2, 1, and then we tape. No fubs, and everything is included in there. No retakes, no nothing, because I can't get people to come on and do a live podcast at 5:36 on Wednesday mornings. But the problem with that is when I tape a show, I can't say, okay, Mick, tell me what you got coming up. And you can't say, oh, this weekend I'm going to be here, and this week, because it may not fall into the cycle for a month. And so can't give anything specific. And so I came up with the idea. I wanted to fill in those odd Wednesdays. So I came up with Jesse Green Live in between. And what that basically is me sitting here where you see me doing maybe a 5, 10, 15 minute that, hey, good to see you. Didn't you enjoy the last show last week with such and such? Well, coming this next Wednesday, this is who I have on, because by then I'm going to know the sequence. Be sure to join me next Wednesday for this. And, I can mention movie premieres. I can mention what I'm doing in professional wrestling, and I can give specific dates. And so I've only done one. The viewership on it is not as good as the actual podcast, but, I'm learning this is, I've got 10 episodes on the air now, and I'm only up to 52 subscribers. What I'm getting, the one I did with Erica Sunshine Lee, I have about 900 views, and I don't know how to turn those 900 views into subscribers. I haven't figured that out yet.
I'll send you some off the air. I'll send you some.
Like I said, because I'm in uncharted territory here. I don't know. I don't know. I had an idea, and so I am on every Wednesday morning now at 5:36 in the morning with something.
There you go, guys. So go follow down below. Make sure you hit subscribe, and let's get those numbers up. So
make sure you subscribe to this program too. This is don't tell anybody else that has a podcast, but this is my favorite podcast I've been on. I enjoy the conversation on this podcast.
Thank you, Jesse. Awesome. I really truly appreciate that.
But everybody else, I didn't mean that. I just said that because he's right
I'm going to hold you to that. Jesse, thanks again.
But thanks for having me on again. I'm available anytime you want to chat about anything.
All right, appreciate it. And I will keep that in mind. All right. Okay. Until next time, I'll talk to you soon. Take care, buddy.
We'll see you all later.
Yes, sir.
Jesse's a good guy.
Yes, sir.
Oh man. Oh, guys, that was a fun conversation.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that. Because the whole movie star thing was just like it's thinking about the idea of it, and thinking about the idea of like you see these franchises kicking in, and it's becoming more about these properties, than it is these actors or the stars that are behind it. It's kind of a cool way to go about it and see how it's kind of turning out. Guys, I did want to mention to you, as you guys know, and Paul, I want to tell you too, I am going through the IOP program for my mental health, working through some traumas that I've had in my life. So, and I've been pretty open about it on the show to talk to you guys, so you guys know, and hopefully that inspires you guys to look for help if you need it too, because it's very important. Never hide from it. There's nothing wrong with it. So mental health is important. Take care of yourselves. So I realize I see myself in the camera. I see sort of fidgety sometimes, see kind of all over the place, racy. I am on some new medications. I'm evening out a little bit. So please bear with me. I am, it's coming together, and it's kind of like bringing the anxiety up a little bit. And it's, so I'm sort of evening out. So like, and I find on show days, my anxiety goes up a lot more. I'm like still trying. So like, I felt kind of bad, like, cause I was like trying to be in top form for Jesse. And I'm like, I felt like a little fidgety, and I was like, oh man, my medication's really like messing with me today. So I just wanted to put that out there for you guys, and for you, Paul, so you knew if you see something, I'm not tweaking on anything. I only love my gummies. And I enjoy that, but and I of course take my medication, stuff like that. But there's some new medications that come in, and I'm also dealing with some physical ailments that I'm trying to get fixed. So it's just a lot all at once. Now let's talk about these movies. We're going to review today Theater Camp and Sympathy for the Devil. See what I mean? It also gives me dry mouth, which I hate.
Same. That's why I'm just not same, but
it's oh my god, it's just been giving me dry mouth for weeks now.
I get that.
And we both did the most broke the cardinal rule of podcasting. Don't drink at the same time, because then it's just dead air.
Sorry. I should have kept talking while I was with the cup. Just, yep, we're good, blah, blah, blah.
And now everybody watching this clip is like, what are these two idiots doing?
We don't even know, but here we are.
I don't care. Go listen to the full podcast to find out, because it was awesome.
Right.
And you don't even know who Jesse was, but his girl is awesome too. Yes, I like Jesse's girl.
Yeah.
So Theater Camp.
Yes, sir.
And Scene. That's what we were doing there. We were showing you what this movie was all about. Theater.
Yes.
Did you work in the theater, Paul?
Yes, I did. I did theater all through grade school, high school. I guess what would have been the college years. I did a little bit of improv classes during that time as well.
Ooh, I knew we were kindred spirits, because I did as well. I worked in the theater. I started in high school, but it was like kind of got roped into it. And then I fell in love with it. And in college, I worked there for years, made some best friendships in my life still to this day. And and I actually I worked adjacent to a theater camp, but I was part of load in, load outs, things like that, helping build sets, stuff like that, helping the other campers and things.
That's awesome.
Oh, but I also worked on shows and stuff, so I did a lot of tech work. So like I knew the worlds. I just didn't work on the shows other than builds.
Right. It's so cool you did builds.
Yeah. So like stuff like that. But
yeah.
So I say that to say this movie is very accurate in many, many ways.
Yeah.
The quirkiness of the people. I was like every student reminded me of new students that sort of came into the college at the beginning of the year. And then some of the teachers reminded me of other people I worked with in the theater, or and friends. Like I'm not like nobody I'm sneezing at, but even what's her name? She plays Sydney on the Bear. I can't think of her name at the moment. Ao Adiri, I believe her name is. If I'm saying that wrong, I'm so sorry. Who I think is wonderful, and I thought she was great in this movie. She was a highlight for me, and she was criminally not in it enough.
Yeah,
because her and the one who played Glenn in the movie, the techie. The tech hand were my two favorite characters, because they were so that was basically an amalgamation of me. Like, okay, I shouldn't be here, but I was good at it.
I got you.
Like
I can't see that now. Like I feel like you'd be. I trust you. You better.
Well, I learned a lot there, like because I couldn't get on film sets early, because I grew up when you go on film sets, so. And it wasn't like Craigslist to be like gigs or, hey, we need this person to come to this hotel room at this time. Sorry. I mean, wait, what? Sorry. Let's get back to theater camp. Thank you. Finally, somebody. No, I'm just kidding. So no, it was a very accurate. Like I started getting flashbacks when they were like kept calling Glenn on the walkie.
Yeah.
Just like, so I'm like, I know that when he's rolling down the hill and you're just like, yeah, I'm done. I can't do this anymore.
Yes, 100%. Because I was watching that and I was thinking of all the kids from different times in my theater experiences where I'm like, yeah, that's so and so. That's so and so. That's this person I liked, this person I hated, and I'm like, god damn. Like they did their research, and I think or maybe not the research. Whoever wrote this had to have gone to theater camp and understood kind of the generic versions of everyone you're going to see at a theater camp.
Well, the two main actors wrote it.
Oh, I didn't realize
the main characters, Rebecca Diane and the one who played her boyfriend, Neil. I can't remember his name.
Okay.
They wrote it, and 2 other people wrote it, and then I guess one of the guys who wrote it with them directed it as well.
Okay.
So they're all like, I guess, friends who did this theater troops sort of things together. So, or this theater camp together, and they were making a movie about it. So very cool. I know it was based on a short that they did. I didn't see the short. I would like to. My problem with this movie is that it drug on too long at points, and I
understand that.
It was like really at the end of the first act and through the second act, but by the third act I was back in.
Right.
I really enjoyed it.
Yes.
So how did you feel about this movie though?
I kind of felt the same way, like kind of, I don't know what you'd say, like halfway through around there, like you said, it was kind of not needed and it did drug on. But like you said, it looped you right back in and then you were back in it laughing.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I think, I told it a lot of the friends I'm still in contact with from theater. I was like, hey, if you haven't seen this, it's going to remind you of, us working on, Charlotte's Web or this, that, and other. You need to watch this. Let me know what you think.
Very cool. Very cool, man. I love it. All right. Well, we both gave ratings to it, and I gave it a 2.5 mics out of 5, and you gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I just did. To me, it's very middle of the road. It's again, if you worked in the theater, you'll appreciate it. And but as overall for a movie, I think this concept works better as a short.
Okay.
To save the theater. So I do want to check out the short film. Like, I think it probably really did work well as a short, and it was like, we can expand on this, which is usually something that never works well. And honestly, I am very tired of movies about theater where they get it right, but the focus isn't in the right place. The focus should always be on the tech guys and girls and everybody in between. And however you identify, but like the tech people, they should be who the focus is on, because their lives are the funniest part of it. Everything you want, go watch any theater movie. All the techies are the funniest ones. It's what you really want to see what's happening. That's the joy of it. But the pompousness of the actors, and the characters, I'm not saying the actual actors. I'm saying the actors in the films. They're very pompous because they're making it all about them. Like, we're the ones you want to see because we're so quirky.
Right.
Like, we're overly quirky because we're all like this. We all knew people like this. It's like, no, the techies are funny because they have to deal with your shit.
Right.
That's the best part. That's why it's funny, because they have to deal with your shit, but you show them for 5 seconds, and we have to watch you for 2.5 hours. Goddamn, Maria!
I can't tell you how many times I had to run the flies, and people just weren't stepping on their cue, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, get on your fucking cue. I'm not lowering this until like 2 feet. Move to the right, you piece of shit. And then I look behind. Anyway, you already know, because behind the scenes, we're cursing up a storm. Talking mad shit.
Yeah, I know. Let's get to Sympathy for the Devil. I think we'll both be a little bit happier talking about this one. Nick Cage at his finest.
Yeah.
This is a concept. I knew not much. I saw the first trailer for this. That's all I'm going to say. So I watched the first trailer for this movie. But I did not know if it was something sort of supernatural to it. So what is this about? Why is he just taking him because he's a maniac? What's going on? So the concept for this movie, I really did not fully understand, and I walked away really liking.
Right.
So, and I don't want to give it away. So, but basically, the story is Joel Kinnaman plays a father on his way to a soon-to-be father on the way to the hospital to meet his wife, who is about to give birth to their first child, when he is carjacked by a maniac, Nicolas Cage, who tells him to drive at gunpoint, and they start driving, and it starts becoming very tension building, and it's a very good thriller throughout. A lot of good horror, some good gore to it as well. I really like this story. What did you think about this, man?
So I didn't know anything about it until you said we were going to review it. So then, I was able to watch it. This is what I wanted years ago from the movie Collateral with Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx.
Well, you shut your mouth. That's an A movie plus movie. A++.
But this is what I wanted, because like you said, I don't 100% understand the concept, and that made me like it more, because I like a little mystery to it of maybe not knowing exactly what's what. It just makes it a little more fun. Like you said, Nicolas Cage always performs as Nicolas, like how he does.
Yeah.
I was impressed. I loved it. You know, it kept my attention the whole time. I think I've talked to you about this before. Like my rating system goes by if I'm watching it with a group of people. Honestly, I'll look at how many people are looking at their cell phones during the movie, and none of us were looking at our phones. So my rating reflected that because kept 4 people's attention start to finish. No one was blah blah blah, like just looking up when things got loud or the music changed or anything like that. Like everyone was enthralled the whole time. So they did a great job.
Yeah, that whole story builds too. The fact that they, just to kind of allude that there's a past between these two,
right,
and what that is. And I don't want to give anything away because I do think people should watch this. It's well done, and I really did enjoy it. So, like for me and you, we both gave this a rating. I gave it a rating of 3. You gave it a rating of 3.5. I think that's totally justifiable. I gave it a 3 because I just think it's a wild performance from Nicolas Cage, but it's not unlike others we've seen from him. So I didn't think it was anything completely new and fresh, but well done. Like it was a well done performance. Joel Kinnaman, I like him. I didn't love him in the role, like that. I didn't feel like a good chemistry. Like it's actually kind of funny. Like you're saying Collateral, and we can argue that on a different one, but like I'm using it as an example, like you did. Like I thought they did have good chemistry of like even just being afraid, like victim and or hostage and kidnapper, you know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas this, it never really felt like that. So when we got to the end that we got, I was like, yeah, I figured.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, I figured it would kind of go this route. So because of how they played it, so it was, and how he played that role. So I just didn't think it was that good of a chemistry, but great movie. I think people should check it out. Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure. Yeah. Well shot too. Really well shot.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Go check this movie out. Let's talk about the mixed movie pick before we get out of here.
Hell yes, I know that movie. Sorry.
Yeah, you do. So this comes from 2008. The reason I chose it is because the last 2 weeks we did our mixtapes for love and heartbreak from songs from 1990 to 2010. And I just thought about 2000s a lot, and the early 2000s, like going to college, things like that. And this movie comes back to with very fond memories. It was a Michel Gondry movie from 2008 called Be Kind Rewind. If you have not seen it, stars Jack Black and Mos Def. They run a video store. I believe it's in Brooklyn. And then they accidentally, through just haphazardness, erase all of the tapes through magnetism, and they reshoot the movies with them telling the stories in very different creative ways. And if you know who Michel Gondry is, as a visually stunning filmmaker, probably the most visually stunning filmmaker in my opinion, your eyes are in for such a treat, so you should check it out. But yeah, I absolutely love Be Kind Rewind. Jack Black and Mos Def are fantastic together. Every step of the way of this story is so much fun, and it's a beautiful movie with friendship and love and everything else and community.
Yep. It makes me want to watch more of their Swedish versions of movies.
Yeah.
The whole way through.
Oh my God, yeah. And anybody who doesn't, like I said, anybody who knows Michel Gondry, if you don't know Michel Gondry and you're film fans, maybe get into it. Go give him a try. Like he's a French filmmaker. So yeah, he did amazing work on a lot of very famous music videos back in the 90s and early 2000s that you guys have seen. And he also has done some great movies as well, including this one. So go check it out. But I want to thank my guest tonight, Jesse Green. Thank you. And remember to go check out his channel down below in the link. I want to thank you, producer Paul, for being here and joining me on this ride. Thank you, all of you, for joining in and being part of it. If you're watching or listening or whatever you're doing. We really appreciate you. Please give us a follow, give us a rate and review if you're listening. Give us a subscribe, give us a like. We really appreciate it. It helps us go a long way. If you guys are interested, please come support the channel over on Patreon. Everything goes back into helping produce the shows. Helps us go back into, sort of like, keeping the things running around here that need running, and just sort of how it kind of helps us with everything. So we really do appreciate our patrons and all their support. But if you would like to support, it's linked down below, and we truly appreciate it. Plus, we have some perks over there as well, and we do have movie news updates that come there that are exclusive there that I think are pretty good, if I say so myself.
They are.
So go check them out. But guys, thank you again so much for joining in. Paul, you want to say anything before we take off, my friend?
Be true to yourselves, you guys. You guys have a great week, and just make sure to be true to yourself.
I love that. I remember to be kind, stay classy, take care of yourselves because it's important, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.